Hello, everybody. How you doing? It's me again. It's Russell Mills. October 8th on a Thursday, 2020. I want to say hello. Hope everybody's blessed. I wanted to ask you guys a question. Did you guys see that debate last night with Michael Pence and Kamala Harris? The thing is, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. It's funny how these politicians, they don't like to answer questions, and they were dodging questions, especially Mike Pence. Not saying Kamala Harris, but it's like, why don't people just answer the questions? You guys are in power. You guys are lawyers. You guys deal with people on a regular basis. You guys deal with the law. Why is it that every time that, let's say, a mediator has to ask you guys a question, people in the media, whatever, everybody's always dancing around the truth? It's like, why can't anyone tell the truth? But because unfortunately you're on national television, and national television is tell a lie. So you have to tell a lie to make it seem like it's the truth. And this is how it is. So you fool the people. So I'm sure you guys saw this.
Ongoing pandemic that has cost our country so much. Senator Harris, the coronavirus is not under control. Over the past week, Johns Hopkins reports that 39 states have had more COVID cases over the past 7 days than in the week before. 9 states have set new records. Even if a vaccine is released soon, the next administration will face hard choices. What would a Biden administration do in January and February that a Trump administration wouldn't do? Would you impose new lockdowns for businesses and schools and hotspots? A federal mandate to wear masks? You have 2 minutes to respond without interruption.
Thank you, Susan. Well, the American people have witnessed what is the greatest failure of any presidential administration in the history of our country. And here are the facts. 210,000 dead people in our country in just the last several months. Over 7 million people who have contracted this disease. 1 in 5 businesses closed. We're looking at frontline workers who have been treated like sacrificial workers. We are looking at over 30 million people who in the last several months had to file for unemployment. And here's the thing. On January 28th, the vice president and the president were informed about the nature of this pandemic. They were informed that it's lethal in consequence, that it is airborne, that it will affect young people, and that it would be contracted because it is airborne. And they knew what was happening, and they didn't tell you. Can you imagine if you knew on January 28th, as opposed to March 13th, what they knew, what you might have done to prepare? They knew and they covered it up. The president said it was a hoax. They minimized the seriousness of it. The president said, you're on one side of his ledger if you wear a mask, you're on the other side of his ledger if you don't. And in spite of all of that, today they still don't have a plan. They still don't have a plan. Well, Joe Biden does. And our plan is about what we need to do around a national strategy for contact tracing, for testing, for administration of the vaccine, and making sure that it will be free for all. That is the plan that Joe Biden has and that I have, knowing that we have to get a hold of what has been going on, and we need to save our country. And Joe Biden is the best leader to do that. And frankly, this administration has forfeited their right to re-election based on this.
Thank you, Senator Harris. Vice President Pence, more than 210.
So I'm going to let you guys, I'm sure, like I said, you guys already saw what Mike Pence, said. And it's like, again, people didn't know about this virus. And now our president has the virus, which has been all over the news of him having a virus. And just like you heard Kamala Harris say, he said it was a hoax. He always calls it the China virus, whether it came from China or not, regardless of the fact is he's an ignorant bastard. The thing is I could say about this debate was they weren't name calling as much like they were in, because these two are actually professional lawyers. They're actually in law, and Trump's not. Okay, so for anybody to say Trump had a good debate, no, he did not. Both of them did not have a good debate, but Trump was horrible. He was disrespectful. He interrupted. Not saying that Mike Pence, and again, Mike Pence is a liar too. We already know this. You're gonna see. The thing is, again, I can't take Mike Pence seriously because it's like, yeah, he talks good. He you know what I'm saying. He's well educated. He speaks well. He seems like, quote unquote, he cares, just like a lot of people. But deep down inside, they don't care. Because if you care, Mike Pence, help out the homeless, write out checks. Okay, you could do that almost by yourself. Let's see what.
1,000 Americans have died of COVID-19 since February. The U.S. death toll as a percentage of our population is higher than that of almost every other wealthy nation on earth. For instance, our death rate is 2.5 times that of Canada next door. You head the administration's coronavirus task force. Why is the U.S. death toll as a percentage of our population higher than that of almost every other wealthy country? And you have 2 minutes to respond without interruption.
Susan, thank you. And I want to thank the Commission and the University of Utah for hosting this event. And Senator Harris, it's a privilege to be on the stage with you. Our nation has gone through a very challenging time this year. But I want the American people to know that from the very first day, President Donald Trump has put the health of America first. Before there were more than 5 cases in the United States, all people who had returned from China, President Donald Trump did what no other American president had ever done. And that was he suspended all travel from China, the second largest economy in the world. Now, Senator Joe Biden opposed that decision. He said it was xenophobic and hysterical. But I can tell you, having led the White House Coronavirus Task Force, that decision alone by President Trump bought us invaluable time to stand up the greatest national mobilization since World War II. And I believe it saved hundreds of thousands of American lives. Because with that time, we were able to reinvent testing. More than 115 million tests have been done to date. We were able to see to the delivery of billions of supplies so our doctors and nurses had the resources and support they needed. And we began really before the month of February was out to develop a vaccine and to develop medicines and therapeutics that have been saving lives all along the way. And under President Trump's leadership, Operation Warp Speed, we believe we'll have literally tens of millions of doses of the vaccine before the end of this year. The reality is, when you look at the Biden plan, it reads an awful lot like what President Trump and I and our task force have been doing every step of the way. I mean, quite frankly, when I look at their plan that talks about advancing testing, creating new PPE, developing a vaccine, it looks a little bit like plagiarism, which is something Joe Biden knows a little bit about. I think the American people know that this is a president who has put the health of America first, and the American people, I believe with my heart, can be proud of the sacrifices they have made. It's saved countless American lives.
See, they keep dancing around this subject like they always do, like he does. Again, you sound good, but you're not really doing good. And that's the problem. You sound good, but you're not doing good. And it's like, again, like I said, at the end of the day, it's very upsetting that American people are dying every day. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't know. That's the one thing about this virus, is that we don't know. So, about who's who has what. You know what I'm saying? People are getting tested all the time. People are worried. You know what I'm saying? People want to stand far from each other now. They're telling, you know what I mean? Again, where there's a disconnect in our human society. And it's scary. And the thing is, the bottom line is this: everybody's worried. The education system isn't right. Everything is messed up. Kids are going to school, sometimes, and then they're going sometimes online. This is crazy. Only thing I could say, again, I liked about this debate was from what I saw of it. I didn't see all of it, but I saw some of it. Was the fact that they weren't yelling and screaming and getting loud. People had their moments, you know what I mean? But they're not up to the point where there was like the Joe Biden and Trump. This is how a debate should be, regardless. But at the same time, the one problem that I have is that these people don't answer questions. And that's scary. And they lie. And they lie to you and I, you know what I'm saying? And then here's what happens. We fight amongst each other, meaning if, let's say, I put out a video like this, and then somebody's going to make a comment and say, oh, how dare you talk about our president or this and that, or your point of view sucks and, you're a piece of shit. And it's like, I have a right to express myself like everybody else does. And we all have a right. But it's just like these people, they're not helping us. You know what I'm saying? See, unfortunately, because American people in this country, as you say, are very selfish and arrogant and ignorant. We don't care. Okay, we don't take the time to have a plan to help ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And help others. It's like, we just think about ourselves, but we don't want to help others sometimes, not unless there's something in it for you. That's the problem. See, and that's the thing that why a lot of people won't go to heaven when they die, because you have to have faith. You have to have faith in God. You have to do right by God. Your whole purpose, our whole purpose, is to serve God, not to serve money, not to serve a car, not to serve women. Yes, do we like women? Do we like men? Do we like to date the people that are in relationships, that people are married? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, you're here to serve God. You're here to do what's right. You're not here to try to lie like these people. Dance around the subject all the time. You know what I'm saying? When there's people's lives at stake every day and no one cares. Just imagine whatever these people are worth, net worth, all these other stuff for for the year, and how much money they could probably help out. Let's say they're worth X amount of millions. Let's just say, I don't know exactly. You could help out a few people. Even if you wrote a few checks for $1,000. Even if you wrote a few checks for $2,000, you could help out somebody's life. If they mess up, that's on them. But at least if you took the time to write a check and say, hey, let me help out someone else, then that person could be blessed. But you don't want to do that. See, that's what I'm saying. You're not here to serve God. You're here to serve yourself. And that's the problem I have with all this people. And it's like, as far as with Trump getting the coronavirus, that bastard deserves what he gets, because you screwed this country and you lied. And you're going to have the nerve to say, oh, if I win, then we'll get a second stimulus check. You know what I'm saying? You shut down that whole stimulus talk. It's like you don't even care about us. You never did, you selfish bastard. You only care. You're a self-centered dickhead, okay, that don't care about nobody except for yourself. Yeah, you love your kids, your grandkids, but that's it. You don't care about nobody around you. You don't care about anything. Okay, you probably don't even care about your wife, and I'm sure your wife don't really care about you. It's just an image thing, because hey, we have a child together. That's it. You know what I'm saying? I don't think she loves you fully. You know what I'm saying? She knows you're an arrogant prick. But here's the thing, regardless, you got money and you got fame, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, for someone, that's never had that, and now you have it. Now you're popular. People can acknowledge you because you're with him. You know what I'm saying? Meaning his wife. So it's like, again, at the end of the day, this is how it is. You know what I mean? So let's just see.
Senator Harris, would you like to respond?
Absolutely. Whatever the vice president is claiming the administration has done, clearly it hasn't worked. When you're looking at over 210,000 dead bodies in our country, American lives that have been lost, families that are grieving that loss. And the vice president is the head of the task force and knew on January 28th how serious this was. And then thanks to Bob Woodward, we learned that they knew about it. And then when that was exposed, the vice president said, when asked, well, why didn't y'all tell anybody? He said, because the president wanted people to remain calm.
Well, let's
So
get
no, but Susan, this is important.
Susan,
I want to add,
I-
Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking.
I have to
I'm
weigh in.
speaking.
Yeah, you
So
can
I-
have 15
I
more
wanna-
seconds, and then we'll give the vice president
Thank
a
you.
chance to
So I
respond.
want to ask the American people, how calm were you when you were panicked about where you're going to get your next roll of toilet paper? How calm were you when your kids were sent home from school and you didn't know when they could go back? How calm
Thank
were
you.
you
Thank
when
you,
your
Senator
children
Harris.
couldn't see your parents because you were afraid they could kill them?
Let's give Vice President Pence a chance to respond. Vice President Pence, you have 1 minute to
You know,
respond.
there's not a day gone by that I haven't thought of every American family that's lost a loved one. And I want all of you to know that you'll always be in our hearts and in our prayers. But when you say what the American people have done over these last 8 months hasn't worked, that's a great disservice to the sacrifices the American people have made.
I'm referring
The
to
reality,
the
if I may finish, Senator, the reality is Dr. Fauci said everything that he told the president in the Oval Office, the president told the American people. Now, President Trump, I will tell you, has boundless confidence in the American people, and he always spoke with confidence that we'd get through this together. But when you say it hasn't worked, when Dr. Fauci and Dr. Birx and our medical experts came to us in the second week of March, they said if the president didn't take the unprecedented step of shutting down roughly half of the American economy, that we could lose 2.2 million Americans. And that's the reality.
Thank you.
They also
Thank you,
said
Vice
to us, if
President
we
Pence.
did everything right, Susan, we could still lose more than 200,000 Americans.
Vice
Now,
President
one
Pence,
life lost is
Thank
too
you.
many, Susan. But the American people, I believe, deserve credit for the sacrifices that they have made, putting the health of their family and their neighbors first, our doctors, our nurses, our first
Thank you, Vice
responders.
President Pence.
And I'm going to speak up on behalf of what the American
So, like I said, it sounds good. But at the end of the day, you know, they know what time it is. They know what's up. You know what I'm saying? Mike Pence, Trump, everybody knew what's up. You know, with this virus, everybody knew what's up. You know what I'm saying? But again, like at the end of the day, you know, we're the ones suffering. And again, I'm glad Trump got that virus because he didn't wear his mask. He wanted to act like he's a tough guy. And, you know, and it's like, you know what happens to tough guys? They eventually lose. So, you know what I'm saying? So, you do your thing. And I hope everybody has a blessed day. Feel free to check out my YouTube channel. It's Russell Mills, RussellMills, May 22nd, 2017. My first video, Why Black People Settle for Less. Feel free to check it out. Take care. Bye.